Alright, hello everyone, I am the man, and welcome to a video that I thought, you know what, I should do, and I planned on doing. I've done this before, a long time ago, on a different channel. This is not a re-upload, obviously, but I've made a list, difficult list, but these are my top 10 favorite movies ever. Now, it does change a lot. My movie taste is a bit all over the place and very strange sometimes. But I thought I'll do it anyways because I like doing these. And yes, let's start off with number 10. So number 10 is Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth is a movie by Guillermo del Toro. Sorry if I butchered his name, but I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. He's the guy that made the Hellboy series of movies, and Death Stranding and other things. This is one of his movies that he created. I cannot remember when, but it was sometime back in the 2000s. He created a movie called Pan's Labyrinth. It is in Spanish, sadly, but there are subtitles, but it's very easy to understand even if you don't read the subtitles. It's easy to understand what's going on. Warning, I may spoil some things on some of these movies, so just be cautious. I try to keep it as less spoiler as I can, but it's about this girl who goes with her mother to this little village. I'm going off of memory here. My memory is bad. It decays with age. Because her mother is marrying this military captain or officer, and there's things that happen. She discovers things within this place, and nobody believes her, but she has to go through these tests, these trials to... Can't really remember why. Sorry if I can't explain it very well, if I can't explain a lot of these very well. But yeah, it's very good. The practical effects are amazing. The style, the movie itself is fantastic. Fantastic. Highly recommend it. Now with number 9, we have Jojo Rabbit. I am very disappointed, not in the movie, but the fact that nobody knows about this movie and nobody even remembers this movie. And it is a fantastic film. Very well made. Absolutely hilarious. It is, I wouldn't say an anti-war movie. It is a bit, but done in a very comical way. It's about this boy who joins the Hitler Youth Group. And he's such a huge fan of Hitler that Hitler just appears randomly and is like this it's like his imaginary friend. He just appears randomly and no one else can see him but him. And then he finally learns the horrors of the war and finally learns all the lies. But it's so well done and it's so hilarious and I love it. It is a very great movie. Sadly, not a whole lot of people even remember this movie. It was promoted, there was trailers, stuff like that, but I think it sort of just fell in obscurity and kind of been forgotten. But I do own it. I own it both digitally and physically. It is very good, very hilarious, great movie. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Now with number 8, Joker. The Joaquin Phoenix Joker. This movie, despite the controversy, is very well made. It is probably my favorite Joker, aside from the Heath Ledger character. But Joaquin Phoenix did do an amazing job with Joker. And I hate to say it, and I know this is going to sound very strange and very dangerous, but I do find this movie a little bit relatable when it comes to the mental health aspect of it, of insanity and dealing with mental health, which I do deal with a lot, and still deal with it a lot in my daily life. But I do find this movie relatable. Am I gonna go and become Joker and start killing people? No. Whenever I say relatable, it means I can relate to it mentally and what he's going through and what's going on in his head. But the actions will never happen because it's all in my head and in his head and stuff like that. And it actually helps with the mental problems. It helps a lot when you find something that's relatable. So, yeah. And on number 7, another bit of a controversial movie, Slenderman. Not Marble Hornets, not Always Look Away, or Always Watching, not Always Look Away. Always Watching, not The Stabbings. The Slenderman movie. The only theatrical, major budget Slenderman movie that everyone, for some stupid, odd reason, hates. I really want to review this movie and rant about it, about how good it is, but we may save that for another video. But this movie is great. The acting can be a bit bad at times, but not all the time, just at certain times. The story is very accurate. The characters are accurate. Slenderman is accurate. A lot of this is accurate, even though a lot of the fans, true fans, say that it is not accurate and that it's a complete mess and that it's terrible and stuff like that. But I hate to say it, it is not a mess. A lot of the why is the frame rate so low? What the hell? Okay, that was weird. A lot of people find this movie very bad. But to me, I think it's probably the most accurate representation of Slender that has ever came out. Ever. This movie is about these teenage girls that go online and try to summon Slenderman, which is not how you summon Slenderman. There is an actual way. I ain't gonna say it. But yes, you can summon him. Does it work? Sort of. But I may go into that in another video. But the way things spiral out of control in the movie in terms of the movie's plot. I'm not talking about, oh man, it spirals out of control, it's a mess, it's terrible. No. Things spiral out of control and they go insane. They see Slender. They deal with Slender. Nobody gets stabbed. For fuck's sake. It is not about that. Can we shut up about it? I'm not saying we should ignore what happened, but can we please shut the fuck up about it? When it comes to these movies that are trying to be accurate to the Slenderman lore, which it is very fucking accurate to the Slenderman lore. Extremely accurate. So yes, everybody goes insane. They see Slender. Slender appears. He does things to them, makes them go crazy. Basically what Slender does. If you go read and actually read the fucking creepypasta and the wiki and all the lore, you will actually understand that, hey, this is actually very accurate. So enough ranting about this fantastic movie. Let's move on to a least controversial and extremely highly rated and extremely fantastic movie, Cloverfield. Cloverfield is one of my favorite movies. It used to be number 1 for a very long time, but we'll get to number 1. This is number 6. Cloverfield is about a monster that attacks a town in Manhattan. Pretty sure a lot of people have heard of it. If not, then where the fuck are you? You should go watch Cloverfield. It is good. It's very well made. It's all home video like. It's not your traditional movie. It's like Blair Witch, where it's all point of view camera angles. So it's a lot of, shaky camera work, camcorders, stuff like that type of movie, and it's very well made. I highly recommend that you watch Cloverfield. There is 3 movies: Cloverfield, 10 Cloverfield Lane, and Cloverfield Paradox. I forget what the third one is called. It's a Netflix exclusive. So yeah. And the 5th movie is actually a pretty recent release. Actually, I have it right here. I'm not going to go over there and get my other DVDs of the movies. We have Color Out of Space. This movie. It is the Nicolas Cage, H.P. Lovecraft, Color Out of Space. This movie is fantastic. This movie is so well made, very accurate. It is just a great movie. I highly recommend it. Nicolas Cage in this is amazing. All the actors is amazing. There's no bad acting. There's like one scene that I literally don't like, and it's a line that Nicolas Cage says in very early on in the movie. It kind of ruins it a bit, because the way the story works, the actual story, not the movie but the book, is the color is so undescribable, that it isn't a color that's known to man. So this may be considered a spoiler. I don't know if this is considered a spoiler, but because this was in the trailer, if you haven't seen the trailer, then this may be spoiler-like. But he says, it's like this pink glow, and then he goes, actually, I don't know what color it was. It's pretty bad line there, because you're not supposed to know what it is. Obviously, it is pink, purple-ish in the movie, but still, it's like, did you really have to say that? Did they really have to have him say that? Because it's like, oh, it's pink, it's weird pink color, but actually, I don't know what it's called. It's like he knew what it was, and then he didn't know. But that's like the only bad acting, only bad part in the movie. Everything else is fantastic. The story is accurate to the book, from what I can remember. I may have to reread it, which I probably will. Just so well done. It is such a great movie. But what's really weird is I went into this, well, not went into the movie, but I went into watching the reviews of this movie after I watched it, and nobody was confused. Even though this is one of those movies that may actually confuse you if you really don't understand what's going on, especially if you haven't read the book and if you don't know who H.P. Lovecraft is. But what's really weird is no one found this strange. No one found it weird. Everyone understood it. But here's the thing. This is not just coming from Lovecraft fans. This is coming from horror movie fans. And here's where it gets even more strange. The same people who said that this movie was good and stuff like that are the same people who said that Slender was bad and they didn't understand it. How can you understand this weird-ass, trippy horror film known as Color Out of Space, based off of H.P. Lovecraft's Color Out of Space, that is weird all over the place, almost the exact same all over the place, crazy weirdness of that Slender had, and you think this is good? but you hate on Slender. It's makes no fucking sense because they're both very strange films. But anyways, we'll get on to the rants later in another video if you guys would like to see me rant on about Slender. The fourth one, we're getting close to the end. This one, I absolutely love this film. It is one of my favorite films. I almost put it at number 2. Almost did. But it is Never Look Away. This movie, let me get it so you guys... Well, I'm popping up pictures, hopefully. Hopefully I remember to put in my editing software and put pictures up on screen. But this movie is a German film. Yes, German film. Deutsch film. I love German movies. I really do. I am not completely fluent in German, but I do know a lot of German. But it is just a fantastic film. It is extremely long. It is 3 hours. But it is worth it. I have to say, and no hate on American films or British films or any films from other countries, but German films are some of the best films I've ever seen in my life. Germans really know how to make a damn good film. And when they make a film, it's good. I've only seen one bad German film, and that's Coffee in Berlin. I'm sorry if you guys like. I'm sorry if you have seen that and you like it. I personally didn't like it. I didn't really. It was too predictable, boring. There's really no plot at all. But this movie is fantastic. It has one of my favorite actresses in it, Paula Beer. And yes, her last name is Beer. B-E-E-R. Beer. She is fantastic. Every movie I've seen her in, she is phenomenal. She is phenomenal. That's her. Right there. She is really good actress. Very good actress. I've never seen her in a bad film. Never. And I've seen her in a lot of German films. She's in a lot of German films. And she's won many awards from what I've seen and learned. And she deserves it because, damn, she's good. She really is. So yeah, that is number 3. Oh, sorry, I forgot to explain the plot. Sorry, I was gushing over the actress and the movie. Sorry. It's about this boy who... who lost his parents and moved in with his aunt, who is mentally insane. And she ends up going to a mental hospital and dies. And he grows up and wants to become a painter. And he goes to this art school and he learns and he meets Paula Beer and stuff like that. And it is a romance film, but there's other stuff that goes on, so it's not like you're watching a Hallmark movie kind of romance film. It's actually done well. I have to say, Germans know how to make good romance films. Not gonna lie, because we're gonna go on to number 3. Number 3. Friends. This movie, obviously Paula Beer. I forgot that guy's name, but he's French. It's a German-French film. There's some French and there's some German. It is fantastic. I absolutely love this movie. I almost like it better than Never Look Away, but it's still... Woo, it was tough trying to get this list and going because I'm literally looking at my notes over here on my computer. But yes, France is about this girl who loses her husband in World War One. He dies, and the killer comes and pays respect to her husband, and she doesn't know that he's the killer, and she falls in love with him, but finds out that he's the one that killed her fiance. And yeah, and he makes up this big lie like, oh, I knew him, we were friends, and before the war started, or during the war and stuff like that. And it is very, very well done. It is in black and white, but it is so fucking amazing. I've watched it so many times. I love it. It is fantastic. Please don't make fun of the fact that I love romance films when it comes to German movies, because they are very good. I have to admit, they are very good. I don't like American romance movies because they're shit. They're always shit. But holy shit, France is a very good movie. Highly recommend it. Especially if you're the kind of people that like romance films. I know. Ha ha. Man, games like romance films. Alright. On to number 2. Number 2 is probably the greatest silent film I've ever seen, and it's way ahead of its time, aside from Metropolis and Nosferatu and Dante's Inferno. It's Hexane. Oh yes, Hexane. Hexane is a silent horror film / documentary about witchcraft. Salem witch trials, all those kind of witchcraft trials that went on, and the visual effects for its time, even though it did come out the same year as Nosferatu, 1922, it is way ahead of its time. The makeup, the practical effects, everything about it is so beyond its time, and it's so, oh my god, it is so good. It is amazing. It is great. It is very well made. It is way ahead of its time for when it came out. Like, watching silent movies really is a good thing to watch, because you get to see how far we've come in cinema, and Hexane is definitely one of those movies you have to watch to really see, holy crap, we actually pulled this off then. Especially with Dante's Inferno. If you go watch El Inferno, known as Dante's Inferno, you will also see that, because it was also ahead of its time, and it even predates Nosferatu and Hexane by, I think, a year or two. Dante's Inferno was a fantastic movie. I don't know how they were able to make it. Some of it does look kind of fake, but a lot of it is like, how the hell were they able to do that in those times with absolutely no technology whatsoever? I mean, these were like, these are like, you crank the thing and it spins and you got the film roll. And they managed to make these incredible sceneries and storytelling, and it's like, how? It's amazing what they were able to do at the time with these films, and I love it. Hexane is fantastic. Dante's Inferno is fantastic. Nosferatu. A lot of those silent films are great, and I highly recommend it. Now on to number 1. This one is one of the greatest films I have ever seen in my entire life, and in case you can't tell, I watch a lot of movies. 24/7. But this one is probably not what you expected. It is another movie that I can relate to. And it's Pink Floyd's The Wall, the movie. I'm sure a lot of people have not actually heard of this movie. They probably had no idea it even existed. But this movie is so well made that the art style, the animations in this movie, the acting. Oh my god, it is a musical, but it's a musical done right. It's not like a Disney film or Cats or whatever. It's actually done right. And holy crap. The reason why I find this relatable, probably the most relatable movie I've ever seen, is because it deals with insanity in a way that I've never seen a movie really handle, even with movies like Joker or other movies that handle mental health. It has nothing has came close to this, and it's a fucking musical. It's about this character named Pink who's a rock star, and he's trying to deal with the pressures of everyday life as a rock star. The women, the drinking, the drugs, all of that. The rock star persona. But it really shows what it's actually like to go insane. What goes on in your head. The way you feel, the way you want to feel. What you want to do. Is any of it real? Is it all in his head? You know, you don't know if it's actually in his head or not, if what's real and what's not. And that's what it's like to go insane and to deal with things that you just can't handle. It is a movie that I do recommend that everyone watches to not only enjoy, but sort of understand mental health, because nothing has ever came close to this movie. The level of acting is so real from personal experience. It's holy crap, the mental breakdowns, the staring off into the distance, the he's there but he's not really there. Acting and what it's like to go through that and deal with that and what keeps going on in your head over and over. It's definitely a film that I do recommend, and it has some of the best animation I've ever seen, mostly because the guy who animated it also went to animate Hercules, Disney's Hercules, which I'm sure a lot of you know. So, yes, it is a very good film. I highly recommend it. It is just a fantastic film, and it is something that I highly recommend a lot of people watch. I actually recommend that therapists watch it to analyze and say, hey, yeah, this is real. This isn't real. This is real. This is what it's like and what it's not like, sort of comparison. But yeah, it is a very good film. I highly recommend it. It is one of the greatest films I've ever seen. But wait, there's more. That's right, we have honorable mentions. We have 6 honorable mentions I'm going to briefly go over and explain, so you guys, because this list was extremely hard to make. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, let's go into the honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1, or number 6, The Captain. It's another German film. Very good. Very well made. Great acting. It's in black and white in German. It's about this guy who trying to escape from the Nazis and ends up finding a abandoned car with a officer's uniform, highly ranking officer uniform and ID. And he ends up calling the shots on a lot of things, and nobody really suspects that he's actually a traitor and is on the run. And he ends up calling the shots and stuff like that, and it's actually based off of a true story. So, Yeah. Number 5 is The Lighthouse with Danny DeVito. I really hope that's who that is. Let me get the DVD. I'm sorry. My memory is extremely bad. William Dafoe, not Danny DeVito. William Dafoe, sorry. Close enough. Lighthouse. I don't know my actors, I'm sorry. Very great film. It's in black and white. Probably the most modern black and white movies you'll ever see. It's horror. It's very good. It's actually very Lovecraftian. It has cosmic horror elements in it, and it's actually done well, and it's... Man, it really is a good film. I highly recommend it. Very good horror film. Very, very well made. And yeah, on to number 4 is Limelight. Limelight is a Charlie Chaplin film, one of his way later films with sound and in black and white. I really love Charlie Chaplin films. They are the greatest films I have seen, old films I have seen, aside from the silent movies. And this movie is one of my favorites of his besides Gold Rush and The Kid. The story is great. It's about a former comedian who lost his touch because of alcoholism, he was only funny when he was drunk. But when he's not drunk, he's not funny, and he quit the showbiz and couldn't do it, and he just ended up just in a slump in an apartment. But he meets this girl who tried to kill herself in his apartment complex, and he saves her, and she becomes a dancer, and he gets back into entertainment and stuff like that. And it's really good. Very good film. Very good. Next movie, number 3 of honorable mentions, is Downfall. Oh, if you have not heard of this film, it is about the last days of Hitler in his bunker. It is also a German film, and it is so well done. So accurate. The acting. The guy who plays Hitler is scarily, I know that's not a word, but scarily accurate. He is extremely accurate. Looks almost just like him. The scene, after learning more about World War II history and seeing some of the real footage of his last days before going in the bunker, if you compare them shot by shot, they did a fantastic job doing shot by shot, especially when Hitler greets the Hitler Youth for the very last time, shaking their hands, giving them medals. If you look at the real footage and compare it to the movie, it is absolutely similar to the real footage. I mean, it is so amazing. The acting is fantastic. Oh, it is great. I'm gonna have to watch it again. I highly recommend it. Second movie is Lemmy. Now, Lemmy is about, Lemmy Kilmister, the lead singer of Motorhead. This is his documentary. It is probably one of the greatest documentaries I've seen besides They Shall Not Grow Old and a couple other documentaries. I love documentaries. But this one is my favorite because it just goes through it shows his daily life from what he does on stage when he's not performing or in the studio, and it's so well done. And he was such a great guy. He really was. He was a good man. Lemmy did pass away back in 2015, but he will be remembered as the godfather of heavy metal besides Ozzy Osbourne. And it is such a great film. I really like it. Great documentary. I highly recommend it. Honorable mention number 1. This is the last one. Is Das Boot. Das Boot. The Boat. Das Boot is a German film. Saying the pattern here. It's about the U-boats. About the people who lived in... It's not a documentary. It's a very well, extremely well made World War II film about the soldiers who lived day by day, night by night, week by week, months even, years even, in a U-boat, which is a submarine. And if you've seen a submarine, which a lot of you have, those things are cramped. So imagine living inside them with a whole bunch of soldiers. So yeah, very great film. I do recommend trying to get the director's cut, especially if it's on Blu-ray. I don't own it physically, but I do own it digitally. It is a very long film. It is about 3 hours long. It's actually longer than Never Look Away. I'm pretty sure at least maybe a few minutes longer than Never Look Away, but it's a very long film and it's very worth it. It is very good. I highly recommend that you watch Das Boot if you get the chance. It is in German, but there are subtitles. So, now that we have gone through the list, gone through the honorable mentions, no, don't save, I hope you guys enjoyed this film, my god, enjoy this video. Hope everyone, let me know if you have seen these films, what you think of them. I know a lot of people are going to complain about me liking Slender, but hey, whatever. If you have seen, what are your favorite movies? What is your favorite movie of all time? Let me know in the comments. If you have seen any of these movies, let me know what you thought of them. Did you like them? Did you not like them? So yeah, anyways, I am the man, and stay tuned for more videos. Goodbye.